I just thought I'd do another, something talking about yesterday's test or Saturday's test against Italy. The second test against Italy, Springboks won 45-0, despite being 14 men for most of the game, and certainly had enough attacking exuberance to make sure that they weren't in any way troubled by Italy. And it was certainly an exceptional performance. But I thought just maybe having a look at a bit more about Jasper Wiese's red card and the consequences of that, because the Boks are facing a bit of a, I won't say crisis is a hard word, a bit of a conundrum, I think is the word more, with the team at the moment, because they a bit short at loose head prop, we know that. And that's why we expect Bowenventer to make his debut against Georgia, but they're also a bit short at number 8 at the moment. There's still options. There's a couple of options they can call back as well, and we'll go through them as well. But Jasper Wiese is likely to get quite a big, hefty sort of match suspension, because he has got a disciplinary record as well. So you don't know how the disciplinary committee is going to come down on him. But certainly it's going to be one of those that the Boks will be hoping for the best, but should be fearing the worst. And he might be... Look, I think he's certainly going to miss the Georgia game, but he might be missing the first 2 tests against Australia in the Rugby Championship, and then, heaven forbid, hopefully be back by the time they're back for those tests in Auckland and Wellington against the All Blacks. But it certainly is a talking point at the moment, and it certainly is something that the Boks have to be very wary about, because losing somebody of Jasper Wiese, he's sort of established himself as the form number 8, and he's certainly been the player extremely physical, and certainly the player that was expected to play against the All Blacks, the number 1, number 8 at the moment, especially with some of the injuries. Now, this situation is a bit of a bad one for the Boks. They've already lost a couple of number 8s already this season, and certainly Jasper would have been a big part of their plans as well. It also ruined the moment for Jasper to have that moment with his brother who made his debut, Kobus Wiese, who made his debut yesterday, and would have wanted to see them both on the field. I'm sure that's still going to probably happen at some point, but it certainly was something that he, it wasn't his best moment, and I think he'll probably be the first to admit that. I know the Boks have defended him as well, and we'll hear from Rassie Erasmus on it as well. But I think certainly it's a situation where the Boks will will be defending him, but will secretly know that he did wrong there. First of all, I've received a couple of comments on social media, on Twitter specifically, a lot of people saying that it shouldn't have been a red card. Unfortunately, it's a deliberate act of foul play. And any deliberate act of foul play is going to be punished harshly by the officials. Now, whether it was a soft head tap or not, the problem is leading with the head is always going to get you into trouble. And the pictures that the referee saw, he had no other option. So I think Andrew Brace made the right decision. I think we should rather be debating why Jasper did that, rather than wondering if the card was legit or not. As I said last night in my hot take, I think the only thing that really, to me, is something you can debate is whether it should have gone up to the bunker, or whether it should have been a straight red card, as Andrew Brace said. I've got no qualms with the decision. I don't think any Springbok fan should have qualms with the decision. Unfortunately, headbutting is always a red card, no matter whether it's soft, hard, and certainly, as Springbok fans, those that have replied to me and saying that it shouldn't be a red card should really rather be thinking about why is anybody using a headbutt in the modern professional game anyway. That wasn't necessary. He was obviously provoked, and fair enough. But there was handbags there, and it was certainly not necessary in the moment either. But let's have a look at the incident quickly, and then we'll go a bit further from there.
Irritation tap and just saying, yep, we got that one on you, but then they want to just watch the continuation and see the actions of Jasper. Jasper is definitely not one of those guys you want to put.
Oh boy.
4 minutes. Sure, I'll have a decision. You can come back to me.
Andrew,
okay,
back on you.
So clearly we've just got hold in between white 1 and green 8 initially. And then 8 green leads with the head. Clear headbutt by green 8. It's going to be a permanent red card against green 8.
Now that's the incident, and as you can see there, it's quite clear that those pictures that Andrew Brace had he had no option because it's a deliberate act of foul play. Now, it's not a tackle where you get it wrong and you clash of heads or your shoulder hits the guy's head and it's accidental. This was a deliberate act of foul play, and I don't think Jasper is going to have any qualms with that. But anyway, that's said and done. Unfortunately, we'll go have a look now at the disciplinary record and what exactly that says. The disciplinary for this entry range, and I think he's got to be a bit careful here because he's got a bit of problems here, I think, coming up. Now, this is the process that World Rugby follows for normal head contact. As you see, first one, has head contact occurred? If no, then it goes somewhere else. Yes. Was there any foul play? Yes. Player at fault. What was the degree of danger? And then it goes down to there, was there any mitigation? Now, the big thing there is have a look at that red box in the bottom right hand corner. Mitigation will not apply for intentional or always illegal acts of foul play. Now that's the problem you have there for Jasper Wiese, is that a headbutt, and that's how it was seen by the referee. You might disagree, but that's the way it was seen by the referee, is automatic red card, a permanent red card. There's no mitigation for that according to World Rugby's head contact rules. So this is now, of course, a bit more. In World Rugby, a headbutt is considered foul play and carries significant disciplinary sanctions. According to the World Rugby's regulations, any contact with the head, including headbutts, results in at least a mid-range entry that can range mid-range from 6 weeks to top end of 10 weeks, the maximum 52 weeks. Of course, the minimum mid-range sanction is 6 weeks, and that is the key thing there as well. Headbutts often result in a red card, and if there's a disciplinary process, obviously that goes to disciplinary. That's where we'll go next, and Jasper will have to defend himself there, but certainly that is where the Boks are at the moment, and unfortunately, it doesn't look good for him. He does have a disciplinary record. Saying that, let's look at the Boks already without the likes of Elric Lowe's on a long-term injury. They're without the likes of Cameron Honeycomb, who's also a long-term injury, which we don't actually know how. It's a hamstring tear, but we assume that he's out for till after the Rugby Championships, because it certainly we have had no other communication there about that. And then, they're also without Jean Augustus, who they've selected as well, and we thought, okay, well, yeah, he's going to get a run in this incoming tours. But he was also sent back because he's gone on his way to Ulster, and he's got an injury that we're not sure how. We haven't heard any talk about how bad that injury is at the moment for him. But he's also another one. And then Jean-Luc Duprez, the fourth member, number 8, who can play in 8, who's already at the back in England. He's on paternity leave. His wife had a baby, so that he can be called back in an emergency, and the Boks might do that. We haven't heard them decide that. I think they're probably waiting to hear what happens with Jasper. Of course, there's only one test left now, and there's a month left before they face Australia in Joburg. I think it's on the 16th of August, if I got my dates right. So there is some time to figure out some plans, and the Boks will definitely have plans. Of course, Evan Roos, who came on, certainly made an impact, and he's certainly somebody who could fill that void quite easily. I think he's probably the guy that will come into the camp. There is, of course, Sia Kolisi, who can play number 8 as well. He's done pretty well for the Sharks at number 8. The Boks don't really want to use him, and Rassie said earlier in the year he doesn't really want to use him at number 8, but in this sort of sense, he may be seen as an option there. We've got, of course, Andre Esterhuizen, who packed down at 8 at some point, and Marco van Staden also packed down at 8 in Saturday's game against Italy. So either of them could, but I'm not sure that's really a long-term, that's sort of almost the emergency measures that the Boks really want to use. And then you have Kwagga Smith, who's the ultimate sort of substitute, and he plays exceptionally well off the bench and has probably had most of his best games for the Boks off the bench. He's also another option at 8. Other than that, they could probably call in somebody like Pepsi Buthelezi, who was part of the extended squad, was at the lineman camps. Somebody like Marcel Coetzee could also be coming to, although I think that might be pushing it just a bit. I'm a big fan of Marcel and the way he plays for the Bulls, but I think maybe he's not in Rassie's plans at this moment. And then, you never know. There might be another trick up Rassie's sleeve as well. But either way, the Boks have got some conundrums. I think we might see Evan Roos play this week. Or maybe they try Andre Estesen at 8 for a change. But certainly they're going to need somebody, a good ball carrier, to take the ball forward. And we'll see as the week goes on what exactly they expect to have happen. But yeah, certainly Jasper has got to look at now himself. I think this is not his first red card. He might get a reputation. And it seems to be same as they spoke at one point about Evan Riss, who's a bit of a hothead. They said, people out there, coaches and commenters, so they said that he needs to calm down. Jasper has to have a look at those things. He'll be the first to know he did wrong. He'll know what he missed out with not being able to play with his brother, and he'll certainly be the type of guy who will take that into perspective. And the box, will defend him, but privately they'll have their hard conversations with him, and that's the way it should be. They should sort it out internally, and hopefully that's where it stays. And Jasper doesn't get too long a ban. Although at this moment, I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen, because you always get the feeling World Rugby are looking to clamp down big time on this, and this might be to his detriment. But tell me who you think should play at 8. Who of those mentioned? Did I miss somebody? If I missed somebody, there's so many players with the box here. Sometimes you do miss somebody, you forget about somebody. But if there is, let me know in the comments. I read them all, and I'll respond to as many as I can. And other than that, if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button. It's always good to hear from you guys, and we'll chat soon. Cheers.